Hi guys, I'm going to do a smart music tutorial, but this one's going to be more in depth and some troubleshooting. It might get long, but hang in there, and hopefully if you have any questions this will solve them. If not, you can always call me, but be specific with your questions and then maybe I can answer them. Alright, so I'm going to just start by clicking on one of the assignments that I need to do here. If it doesn't show your assignments page, go ahead and come to the home button right here and click the home. Okay, so I'm going to click this one and it's going to ask me for my part. So this is the part, this is the time when you get to select your part. If you do it later, you won't be able to submit that, and I'm going to show you. So first of all, whatever part I'm supposed to sing, that's what I gotta click now. I can't do it later. So I'm going to click it here, push OK. Wait for it to upload. Okay, once it uploads, and it might take a few minutes, it's going to bring me to this page. Okay, so once I get to this page, it says instructions for your assignment, and it tells you if you sing on the south side part 1, if you sing on north side part 2. Well, there's no really need for this because you can't change your part now that you've already chosen it. So just close that, and notice it says part 1 here and Amazing 2 here. Do not change this. I'm going to show you what happens if you do. So also, let's look up here. It says tracks. That refers to our accompaniment, my part, and the metronome. If you click on the microphone, it clicks it off, and that means that you will not hear the accompaniment. All right, so let's see what happens if I click off the accompaniment. It's going to test my mic, and once it's good, click start, and then it's going to start the recording. Notice it's not going to play the accompaniment. I don't know what I'm missing. Is that what life's all about? The world is calling and I'm listening. And I'm listening. Alright, so I go ahead and I do the recording, and notice it started and stopped where the part was, where the assignment was given. So it gives me a submit button, and I could submit that. Alright, if I click submit, it's going to take me to this, and then it's going to click submit. I'm going to do that in just a minute, so I'm going to click cancel. Okay, so what happens if, let's go back to tracks. So this is my takes. This takes me, the word tracks takes you to where you can play the accompaniment, or you can just take off your part, or you can take the metronome. So if I take my part off and the metronome, and all I just have is the accompaniment, then this is what you get. And some of you might have already played around with this. I no longer hear the click. I no longer hear my part. Okay, so clicking this will, if you have the X, that means that they're not going to play. If you have it, you can adjust the volume here on this slider. Okay, and so that's a place that you can adjust the volume of those tracks of what you hear. If you click subdivisions, that's going to do, instead of beats per quarter beats, it's going to give you eighth note beats. So that means if you click it, it's going to give you 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So listen to that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can hear that click going twice as fast. So that's what subdivisions is. Okay, now if you go to my takes, then it shows you all the ones. If you click on this little arrow button, it's going to show you all the ones that you've done. Okay, you can delete any of those, you can save any of those, and you can submit. Saving them will save them directly to your Chromebook, and it only saves them in like the clipboard, and then you can upload those. Okay, assessment, you can do the show assessment, you can do percussion clap mode, which is obviously, this is not percussion, so you don't need to worry about that. And then you can't really select this. This is what I have to select. Okay, you can also come and see your instructions on what you're supposed to do. So if you click that and you need to know what your instructions are, you can click on this T instructions. The loop is just going to loop it, okay? It's going to show you this part that you need to sing. Display, it's going to tell you if you want a colorblind mode. Say you're colorblind and you need to change colors, you can click on that. Highlight a measure, it'll highlight the measure that you're singing in. Beat cursor, it'll show you the little blue line that moves along. So if you click on that, you can do a flow or a note cursor or no cursor, whatever one you want. Okay, so that's where you can change. So let's say I want a note cursor. All right, let's go back to recording. Let's go back to tracks. Okay, we're gonna click record. It's gonna start where we stopped. It's all about the world is calling and I'm listening. And I'm listening. Okay, so sorry about the phone ringing in the background. So now what we have is we can click submit again, but I want to go ahead and show you the part where you cannot change the part once you've selected. So I've already selected part 1. If I go in here and I change it to part 2 and I try to record it, it's going to upload it. Okay, once it uploads it, it's going to bring me to the page, and notice it's highlighted part 2 now. Okay, and if I hit record, it's going to ask me to test my mic, and I can click start, and it's going to start to play for me. So patiently wait, it's going to go and record all this. Okay. I feel the freedom inside, come on let's go for a ride. I finally opened my eyes. And notice, excuse me, I'm sneezing. Notice that it just kept going, but it doesn't have a submit up here. So my submit button is now gone because I have changed this part right here. If I want to change back to part 1, it's still going to do the exact same thing. So even though it took me back to part 1, watch what happens when I try to record myself. It's going to test my mic again. Okay, and I'm going to let it go. 3, 4, 1. I'm living right here and now, and I don't want to miss out. Is this what life's all about? The world is calling and I'm listening. And I'm listening. I feel the freedom inside. Notice last time when we did it, it stopped right there, and I didn't have to go any further. Well, it didn't stop this time, and that's because it erased or it changed the settings. So I also do not have a submit button. The way to fix this is, I'm afraid you're going to have to go all the way back to home. Click home. And then you're going to have to go back into the assignment again. Select the correct part. If you want to do part 2, you got to select it now. You can't do it later. Select part 1, push OK. And wait for it to upload. Once it's uploaded, click the close. Go ahead and push record, and it's going to start you where you were before. Click start, and here we go. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2. I'm living right here and now, and I don't want to miss out. Is this what life's all about? The world is calling and I'm listening. And I'm listening. Okay, notice it worked that time. I can come up here and I can click submit. Okay, so that means that if you go and you change your part over here or this over here, you're not going to be able to submit it. It's not going to let you. All right, so now what happens? Let's go to a different assignment. Okay, I'm just going to click submit to show you what it looks like. Submit, click submit. It's going to take a minute. Upload. Submission of your take submission succeeded, push close. And then if we try to record it again, what happens? I'm living right here and now, and I don't wanna miss out. Is this what life's all about? The world is calling and I'm listening, and I'm listening. Okay, there's no submit button because guess what? I've already submitted it. All right, now let's go back to home for a second and let's go to one that has some settings. Okay, so we're going to click out of here. We're going to go to home. Now I'm going to click on this exercise right here and I'm going to show you what happens if you change some other settings. Okay, we're just going to click go, close. Now notice that on here I have muted this part. That is because I wanted you to be able to sing it without your part being played. So if you go ahead and click this X, you're going to get an exclamation point here. And if you go ahead and record, it's going to give you some type of a box. And if you read that, it says your current My Part track is active and should be inactive. Reset to assign settings to continue recording or continue anyway with the recording. So if I continue anyway, watch what happens. Okay. Okay, so now there's a submit button, but it's not lit up and there's no way I can click on it. And that's because I changed settings. So if you change a setting, you can't do it. So go back to my tracks, click the part off, and then start it again. And you'll be able to record it and upload it. And then I can now submit. So click submit, submit, wait for it. Okay, push close, and now I have submitted it. Once you've submitted it, you can't resubmit it. And this, I reassign it. Okay, so a couple of things. If you go in there and you change your part, it's not going to let you submit it. It's going to change it and just not give you a submit button. If you go and you change it to where you want it to play your part, it's also going to give you some issues. So please make sure that if you are, after you're done practicing, that you go back to your home page, then click on your assignment, select your part, and go straight into your recording. Don't change any settings, because you can change the volume on the tracks, but don't mute any of them or unmute any of them. And then that will help you with submitting. Please send me any questions or emails that you have concerning this. Okay? Thanks guys, good luck, and hopefully this helps those of you who are struggling with Smart Music.